All right, let's do a quick showdown cram here while we wait for overtime. Let's do it.
I suffer from a debilitating condition known as atrophic shockitis.
Peter's one of the greatest depositors I've ever seen.
Trust the process. Let's go. Let's go.
I got auto matched with Levitan. This is bullshit.
If I just go the other way in that 66, I win all the money. All the money.
If I had 150 lineups, I'd win too.
Process over results.
Illuminati make a bitch go crazy. I don't know which one of these my baby. Bust down AP, close spot bullets in your head like KD. Bust it, bitch go bust it. And I had 10 pints with me in Russia.
Hey everyone.
All right. The NFL industrial complex does not care about our showdown crams, overtime, no cushion. Couldn't we just get like an hour in between these games, decompress, build our showdown lineups? I feel like I barely didn't even get to watch the end of this game because I was making my showdown lineups for tonight. So let's make this a quick cram. We'll live up to the name here. I will happily answer questions if you guys want to rapid fire these. I have updated ownership. I've run the Sims. I've done all that jazz. We can cut the fluff here. The best captains relative to ownership look to me as, no surprise here, Deebo Samuel and Cooper Kupp, which is kind of surprising. Normally, we don't see leverage ops on those guys just because they're so popular. But Deebo Samuel seeing average captain ownership around 12%. Sims have him at 19%. So looking good there. And then Cooper Kupp, average ownership, captain ownership around 20%, yet he's showing up in our Sims almost 26% of the time. So those guys look like good captain plays. Nothing else really standing out from the captain spot. I would say that Matthew Stafford does not look too good as a captain. He's only showing up in our Sims about 4% of the time, and his average ownership looks to be around 9%. So the captain takeaways, Deebo Kupp looks solid. You probably didn't need me to tell you that. Matthew Stafford doesn't look so hot. As far as the flex, Jimmy Garoppolo actually looks pretty good in the flex. I'm seeing about 30% average ownership on Jimmy Garoppolo. He's appearing in our Sims 40% of the time. Other guys who look pretty good in the flex would be Kyle Juszczyk, which I know is kind of surprising. 10% average ownership, but he's appearing in our Sims about 20% of the time. I think it checks out in the he's 1600. We know that he is capable of catching a few balls, might get some goal line stuff. So definitely don't hate that, especially in your large field stuff. A lot of the 49ers look good as flex plays. Eli Mitchell is appearing in our Sims more than his projected ownership. So is Juwan Jennings. As far as flex plays that don't look too hot to me, it's funny that both Deebo Samuel and Cooper Kupp are showing up as super popular in the flex relative to how often they show up. So kind of my read on that is that because their salaries are so high in the captain spot, that people who are hand building don't necessarily love, what do we get? Bengals interception. Goodness. I'm just going to keep powering through this. It's too hard to talk about showdown stuff and sweat a game at the same time. Man, this was such a ill-conceived showdown cram. But it makes sense to me that people feel more comfortable with Deebo and Kupp in their flex, just because they don't like how their lineups look when they have them using up all that salary in their captain. So my take would be lean into Deebo and Kupp in the captain slot and maybe be slightly underweight in the flex, just because the field is going to be heavier there. Let's share our screen here. Let's see. Eric says Juice and Juwan Jennings. Yes, both those guys look good. Trevor played Uzoma. I am sorry to hear that. I had him in my spy lineup as well for the 2-game slate. T. Higgins catches a pass. You guys are probably ahead of me. Is Trey Lance viable? Probably not. I mean, I'm playing the super big contest. There's basically just no paths to him being relevant unless Jimmy G gets hurt. I mean, they're not benching Jimmy G in this spot for Trey Lance. So I guess in the 80,000 person contest, if you want to, but I'm playing all the big contests, the mini maxes, and I have 0 Trey Lance. Thoughts on Akers Sony? Yeah, that's a good one. I'm not really, I know there's some people who seem kind of concerned about Akers after the fumbles. I'm not too concerned about it. I think they're going to go back to him. I don't think that we're going to see some kind of 50-50 split. Let me pull up here what inputs we have on Run the Sims. But let's see. Yeah, so I need to share my screen. So we have Cam Akers at a 70% market share rushing and Sony Michel at 19%. And that feels about right to me. Receiving Akers 8%, Sony Michel 4%. I think McVay is going to have a pretty short memory on this one relative to those fumbles. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. As far as how they look as plays, Cam Akers looks decent. You know, he's showing up. Let me just run our sims here so you guys can see what I'm seeing as well. But Cam Akers is showing up here in, when I ran it earlier, was 42.6, up to, 42.5% of our winning lineups. And his flex ownership I'm seeing is around 38%. So Cam Akers looks like a nice play. Probably not going to mess around with Sony Michel much. He's only showing up in our sims 6% of the time as the Bengals complete another pass. Holy shit. I can't believe we might get Bengals in the Super Bowl. Let's see here. Eric says he's playing a lot of Robbie Gold. Yeah, the Sims never like the kickers. I certainly get the Robbie Gold stuff. He's been awesome. But as far as the math here, he's showing up in our Sims 10% of the time, average ownership around 18%. I don't think he's a bad play. I just don't necessarily think he's a smash play as well. The Goose likes how things are lining up with his 20 max. Let's see here what some of these lineups look like. This is in the default sim, which of course is working off of the assumption of a 45.5 point total and the Rams winning by 3.5. Let's see here. So yeah, it's interesting seeing some of the funky captains at the top. We have a Tyler Higbee captain and a Juan Jennings captain. Do you pronounce the J? Is it Jawan or Juan? I'm going to go with Jawan. That those lineups are appearing at a pretty high frequency and not a ton of product ownership on obviously the Jawan Jennings one, Brandon Ayuk. Those things are going to be held in check here. Seems like there is way more value on the 49ers side. Most of these are 49ers heavy builds. Here's a 5-1, 49ers 4-2. Bengals about to end this. Incredible. Let's see here. Any other questions for you guys? I mean, this was just such a dumb idea trying to do a showdown cram during overtime, but I'm a man of my word, and I figured some of you guys were building here. The Goose is locking Cup at captain and rolling. Yeah, I have no problem with that. Just seeing what kind of frequency that Cup is appearing in the Sims, and I end up not playing that way as far as lock buttoning guys. Just because I end up like going through and looking for more kind of low-owned lineups collectively. So I'm less concerned with who is the captain, but I think that's a perfectly viable strategy on the slate. And I know a lot of guys throughout the season have had success finding the, kind of optimal leverage play from the Sims and then lock butting that guy. So I think you cannot go wrong with Cooper Kupp here. One thing, and I know we're running out of time for this, but I do think this is a game to play the Sims from different standpoints just because the game flow is going to be so different. I do think based on how the game script goes, where I do think the Rams want to pass the ball. But if they get up with a lead, I'm interested in adjusting their pass rate or their rush rate. And then whereas the 49ers want to run the ball, if they're losing, I'm actually interested in lowering their rush rate. So those were some of the inputs I was fiddling with here in this game. Does anyone else have any other questions, any kind of scenarios that they would like me to test here? We can run one more sim and see how it looks. Let's do the one I just floated to where, let's say the Rams win by 10. And let's actually keep it a low scoring game. Let's say it's like a 24-10 game and the 49ers are forced to lower their rush rate. And let's say that the Rams increase their rush rate. I'm kind of interested to see how that looks from there. So in this scenario, we still have a very high captain rate on Cooper Kupp and Deebo Samuel, but you see a huge beneficiary here is Cam Akers, which makes sense. The Rams shifting more run heavy in a winning game script. He's up to a 16.7% captain rate. In our default sim, based on the projected game script, he was only showing up 12% of the time. So those are the kind of scenarios I like to look at where I said, Cam Akers is kind of a neutral captain play in default script scenarios. But if you're playing this game as a Rams 24-10 win, which I don't think is an absurd game script, he all of a sudden looks like the best captain leverage play. So I'd be thinking through those things if you're just hand building a couple of lineups, as far as which players you want to be heavier on. I'm trying to see who else benefits from this. Obviously, Matthew Stafford shoots up in about 46% of lineups. So you can definitely play this from a more, game script perspective, and you can see how that flips. And I do think it will hold true as well. Like, we can flip this. Like, let's play it as a 24-10 Niners win. And we will 104. Goodness. Is that game? The Cincinnati Bengals going to the Super Bowl. Unbelievable. I thought the Chiefs were so dusted in that first half. They looked like they were toast. That is incredible. Good for them. What, man, the ratings, what's our worst possible ratings? Probably Bengals, Niners. Bengals Rams will be fun if we can get that. What was I going to do? I was going to play it as a 49ers win, and then I will wrap this up. If we play it like 24-10 Niners to Rams, and we'd really boost the 49ers rush rate. I think they could be up here at like 55%. We would drop the Rams rush rate even lower if they were playing catch up. Let's see how this looks. This is obviously a night you can use the double Ds as well if you play it as a really low scoring game. So no surprise here. Cooper Kupp holds strong as an optimal captain in basically all these game scripts, but you see Deebo gets pushed a little higher, and Eli Mitchell comes up to 14.7%. In our default sim, Eli Mitchell was at 7.5%. He almost doubles here to 14.7%. So the big takeaway to me is if you want to play either of these teams winning by, more than say 10 points in a low scoring game, the running backs become extremely optimal captains in those scenarios relative to their ownership, especially. Kupp and Deebo just stand out in all game scripts. And that's kind of why I think they're going to be such comfy selections for people as flex plays. But yeah, so based on that, I mean, Kupp and Deebo, obviously best captains, but if you want to play it as a big Rams victory, Akers is intriguing. If you want to play it as a big Niners victory, then Eli Mitchell is intriguing as well. We can see what these custom lineups look like. Just a ton of obviously 5-1s in favor of the Niners in that situation. Some of these lineups are kind of interesting where you have a 5-1 Niners onslaught with Cooper Kupp at captain, Deebo, Juwan Jennings, Kyle Juszczyk, Garoppolo, Eli Mitchell, just cycling through some of those Niners with Kupp at captain. I kind of like that. And you can see a bunch of these are all Niners onslaughts with either Kupp. It looks like we have an Akers here. Kupp. Yeah. So I kind of like these builds with the Niners onslaughts and then just using one of those Rams skill position players. I appreciate you guys hanging out here. We'll do, I haven't figured out what my exact schedule is going to be for the Super Bowl, but I'll definitely have at least one early or midweek Showdown Cram. And then I'm actually going to be in LA for the game. So I haven't figured out if I'm going to be able to do a Showdown Cram, right before the game or not. Probably not. But we'll get you guys squared away. Hope you guys enjoyed your conference championship Sunday. Good luck tonight on the Showdown slate. I do think we have an edge. We were the only sickos here building lineups while everyone else was sweating the end of this game. So hopefully one of us ships it. Wow. Very nice of you, Greg. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Good luck tonight. Ship those tournaments. Tag me and run the Sims when you take it down. Peace.